welcome to the Pelican Rapids High School Band's 2026 winter concert. We've got our 7th grade band, our 8th and 9th grade band to play, and our wind ensemble. And the kids have been working incredibly hard. These 7th graders basically got to cut time now, so it's kind of an interesting thing. 5th grade, 6th grade, we're just beating into their heads. Whole note gets 4 beats, half note gets 2 beats. Always, always, always. Whole note gets 4 beats. I'm up there banging stick 4 times, you know. And then all of a sudden, 7th grade comes along, we start learning about cut time, and well, guys, I lied to you a little bit. They don't always get 4 beats. There's this thing called cut time where everything gets cut in half. So while you're playing, you have to do like some division in your head, and it takes a little bit of getting used to. It's really an important thing because, you know, all the marches and all the school songs, just about all of them are in cut time. And cut time is a challenge for some. These guys picked it up so fast. Really proud of them. So you'll be hearing several cut time songs tonight. That's 2 beats per measure because everything's cut in half. So we have our floor, ceiling, floor, ceiling. Our first one was in cut time, and our second one is in cut time as well. It's called Someone's Knocking at the Door, and you might, if you listen carefully, actually be able to hear the knocking of the door. So someone's knocking at the door. The next piece brings us back to the time of King Arthur and Camelot. It's called Excalibur, and it basically depicts that sword that's stuck in the stone that no one seems to be able to take out of the stone. Quite a story, but this is called Excalibur, so listen to how the composer tries to depict sort of that old medieval type castle sound, you know. And also there's a syncopated rhythm that goes syncopa, syncopa. So that's another one of the new things these guys have been working on, and it's all over this piece. So this is Excalibur by Jim Swearingen. And now we bring you to Scotland for as you might recognize the tune. You'll be able to hear, the Scottish bagpipes and the drone that they create when they're playing right off the bat. You'll hear the drone and then you'll hear the tune. Again, this is another cut time song and it's called Scottish March. So cut time songs usually go a little bit faster, right? They're not usually as long as some of the stuff you'll be hearing tonight, as you can tell. But this next one now is called Pirates Parade and depicts basically pirates. And if you think about pirates, they're notorious for what? Having their hands bitten off by alligators and sea beasts, and very often their legs too, and then they end up with a peg leg or a wooden leg. And so again, if you listen carefully, you might be able to hear a wooden-legged pirate walking around the stage. This one goes a little bit slower. It's not quite as fast as some of the other ones, and it's in a minor key, so it's got a cool sound to it. This is Pirates Parade. And with each of the bands, I usually give them something that there's just really no way they can play it at the level they're at the previous concert. And we can sight read it, and it's usually not going to sound real good. Every band will be like this. Some of the tunes, we're reinforcing concepts and stuff, but we're also pushing the kids' technique on them. And so that, for the 7th graders, is this next piece. It's called Acclaim, really a difficult tune that kind of sounds like movie music to me. Acclaim by Rob Grice. All right, so these guys have been learning all about 6/8 time, and 6/8 time is yet a whole other thing. So I suppose if you did the math on this, you'd have to divide by like a third or something like that to get the rhythms figured out. We don't think of it like that. We think of it as 2 beats, but the beats, instead of being divided into 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and, are divided into 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So again, it changes the value of every single note. And you know, once they learn 6/8, then they're able to learn all the rest of the marches that are out there that have been written, you know, and same with the school song. Some are in 6/8 as well. So this is Oxbow Hoedown, and Jonathan Jaworski writes, the Oxbow Trail, a spur of the more famous Oregon and Mormon trails, ran through eastern Nebraska from approximately 1840 to 1870. The trail's unique name came from its shape, which resembled the yoke that hitched a team of oxen together. Many settlers bound for the western United States traveled the route, running from Plattsmouth to Fort Kearney. Through the 1860s, the Oxbow Trail was increasingly used by the military to move supplies to personnel stationed in the western part of the country. Oxbow Hoedown is, as the title suggests, a hoedown, or a ruckus folk dance. This is Oxbow Hoedown by Jonathan Jaworski. All right, our next piece is the one that is really, really hard. In fact, I was looking at it looking at it online just to kind of figure out some things to say about it. And it says it's most frequently played by really good high school bands and college bands. And I'm like, oh man, this is 8th and 9th grade. But they totally got it. This is really, really hard. They have to count so hard. And I think for a long while we were like, no, I don't think we're ever going to get this. But they got it, and it is really, really good. This is actually one of Jack Couture's favorite songs. They did this at contests many, many, many times, and I can still see all of his scratchings and stuff in the notes and the score and everything, so it's kind of neat and sentimental. This is Festivo, and basically what it does is it takes the woodwinds and it puts them against the brass. So it's just this battle between woodwinds and brass, and you just hear it going on. But the percussion are like, no, don't forget about us, you know, they're back there, notice us too, so they sometimes take over, sometimes they just help the whole thing kind of click together. Incredibly difficult piece of music by a Czechoslovakian composer named Václav Nelibel. This is Festivo. Yeah, wow, great job. That, it sounds hard, doesn't it? It sounds like college music. Festivo by Nelly Bell. Her next piece is a lot more lighthearted than that heavy thing, and it's called Viva la Compagnie. And nobody really knows the history of it. It is kind of an English song, but the French kind of found it, and then, I don't know, it's got some of the lyrics are in English, some of them are French, so the mystery's kind of an enigma a little bit, but regardless, it talks about camaraderie and friends and spending time with friends and just love and good stuff like that. So this is called Viva la Compagnie.
Why'd you inquire?
It's short but awesome, right? The Olympic Fanfare. That was written before John Williams wrote his, the one that you hear played all the time. This one is played less and less, but still one of my favorites. Bugler's Dream, it's called. Okay, our next piece is the big one for these guys, and very difficult piece again. It's a theme and variations. It's called Variations on a Korean Folk Song. You may or may not recognize the initial song at the beginning, but it's catchy enough for you to kind of remember as you go, and that'll be important. So basically what he does, theme and variations is really kind of a cool thing to write because you have a theme, and it may or may not be your own, but then what you're going to do is create variation number one. Variation number one, you can do many different things. These are things you can do for the variation technique. You can add or subtract notes to the melody. You can change the rhythm of the melody. You can play the melody upside down or backwards. In fact, if you listen to the main theme of this one at the beginning, it's done by the clarinets, and then when you hear the same theme played by the muted trumpets later on in the piece, it's actually upside down. So instead of going da da da, it goes da da da. Every single note is exactly opposite of what the main theme is. So it's kind of backwards or upside down. They could stretch each note of the melody to make it longer. They could make each note of the melody shorter. They could change the chords or the harmony, take fragments of the melody and just compose a whole variation like that. Or they could present it in like a round or a canon, like when you sing Row, Row, Row Your Boat, the group. So this is, again, a really, really tough piece. One of my all-time favorites, actually. Variations on a Korean Folk Song by John Barnes Chance. Okay, so these are a little bit longer, as you can tell. So make up for that little bugler's dream that we had. It was like 18 measures long. Anyway, Miss Saigon is one of my favorite Broadway musicals and was written by the same team that became famous for Les Mis, Les Miserables, one of the most successful musicals of all time. It takes the story of the opera Madame Butterfly by Puccini and modernizes it to the Vietnam War. It works well as a concert band piece as it includes a wide variety of musical styles including rock, jazz, pop, classical, just all sorts of styles in this thing. It blends Eastern sounds and Western sounds. So music from China and Japan and Vietnam, the Eastern world, and the Western sounds of Europe and America. It includes one of the most epic scenes ever attempted on Broadway in The Fall of Saigon. During the chaos of the war and the evacuation of the Americans, a full life-size, totally realistic helicopter lands on the stage, picks up some soldiers, and flies off into the distance. Absolutely stunning moment in Broadway, and it's really, really something to take in. So this is Miss Saigon, and it's a medley, and it's got quite a few of those songs in it. You'll really like it. So anyway, before we play this last piece, thanks again for being a great audience, awesome job, students, and yeah, we have pep band again tomorrow. Now we have a double header, and then we've got contests coming up, and all sorts of good stuff. And otherwise, we will see you guys in the spring for a spring concert when we say farewell to our seniors. This is Miss Saigon.
Thank